One of the reasons that I decided to start my business back in 2016 was that we wanted to travel more. My husband and I had always taken that, regular trip every single year, and we took some pretty epic vacations while we were working our typical 9 to 5 jobs. But we wanted more flexibility. And so when I set out to start my business, we thought, hey, we're going to add another trip or 2 trips a year, extend our trips a little bit longer. We did not imagine that we would quickly become digital nomads. And in today's video, I want to share with you some of the lessons that I've learned throughout that journey. Hello and welcome back. I am Michelle Knight, founder and CEO of Brandmerry.com. And today I want to talk to you about being a digital nomad. Now, as I've mentioned in the intro, I started my business back in 2016 because I wanted to work from home. And of course, we had aspirations of traveling and going on vacations and a little bit more flexibility on how long we could stay and where we could go. But in 2018, our world quickly changed. We unfortunately lost many people that we loved that year, and my husband and I realized that we wanted to take action, and we wanted to take action quickly. Essentially, we wanted to start traveling full time. Now, my husband was working a 9 to 5 at the time. I was already running my business, which had grown to 6 figures a year. And we decided that our best avenue at the time was to bring him from his retail job, bring him home, sell our home, buy an RV and a truck, because we didn't have that either, and set out to travel across the United States. So we traveled across the United States in an RV from 2019 to 2020. And it was an experience. If you don't already know, we also have a child, and at the time he was just 3 years old, and we were really learning to navigate not only running a business from the road, having my husband home for the first time. It had just been my son and I for so long, and the adventures of traveling just as human beings. We ended up traveling from 2019 through mid of 2020. You can probably imagine why we stopped traveling in the RV in 2020. And we decided to just settle down for a moment, let some things pass over. So you might be watching this video and you're like, Michelle, you're talking about being a digital nomad. You're clearly in an office. Well, being a digital nomad for us looks different every single year. We spent 2 years living in an RV, and last year and into this year, we have been having a home base in our apartment that we rent out while traveling overseas into different countries. So we actually have been to St. Croix. We've spent a month in Hawaii. At the time of this release, we are coming back from 3 months in Greece. And so what I love about being an entrepreneur and being able to run my business as a digital nomad is the flexibility to do it from anywhere. And I think in 2020, we realized that not only are entrepreneurs and small business owners able to do that, but a lot of people who work in corporate or 9 to 5 might be able to be more location independent. And so I want to share with you some of the top lessons that I have learned on my journey, from living in an RV to renting out an apartment and taking small trips to traveling for months at a time to different countries. The first thing that I have to share with you, and no doubt, like every time someone sends me a DM on Instagram, like, oh, I'm thinking about doing this, what do I need to know? I always begin with, your Wi-Fi is never guaranteed. I don't think we talk about this enough. I don't feel like anyone warned me about this when I was setting out to become a full-time RVer. And I think there's a lot of conversations around like the things that you need, but those are not always reliable. We have 4 hotspots, and sometimes we have 0 service. We might go to a place that, we're like, oh, this is gonna be beautiful and scenic, and zero Wi-Fi, zero cell service. It's happened so many times. I have driven up to gas stations 20 minutes away just to upload a video. And so I think one of the greatest lessons that I've ever learned is that Wi-Fi is essential as a digital nomad, somebody who runs their own business, but it's never guaranteed. So what do you do about that? Well, you have to really plan accordingly. And I'm kind of a big planner anyways. In fact, I have an entire video on planning 6 months in business right here, if you want to check that out. But when you're planning as a digital nomad, it is essential so that you know when you're able to take client calls, when you're able to maybe record a bunch of videos and upload them. And you want to be really strategic with the locations that you're scouting out during those times. So we are getting ready at the time of this recording to head to Greece for 3 months. And I work one-on-one with my clients through video consultations. I also do trainings inside of my membership, Brandmerry Academy. And I need a way to do a few of those calls every single month. So what I do is I actually look at our route and I make sure that none of the days that I'm planning on having calls are travel days. Seriously, just never schedule a thing on a travel day, meaning you're going from one location to another, whether that's by ferry, bus, car, boat, a plane, it doesn't matter. Don't plan on having client calls on a travel day. You can thank me for that one later. But what I've done is I've looked at our schedule, where we're going, and the areas, the Airbnbs, the hotels where the reviews say that there is excellent Wi-Fi. I am a stickler for looking at reviews specifically for Wi-Fi. And if there aren't any reviews about the Wi-Fi, I will even reach out to the host and ask them and tell them that I require video streaming. So don't be afraid to ask those types of questions. And then what I do is I adjust my availability for my clients based on that information. So for instance, we're gearing up to spend some time in Athens. I know that this particular Airbnb has rave reviews about Wi-Fi, and we're in a large metropolitan area. So even if I don't have it in the apartment, I can go to Starbucks or a public park where you can often get Wi-Fi. So you really want to plan accordingly for your calls and never just assume that everywhere you go will have Wi-Fi. This is also fantastic because it allows you to have bulk work days as well, where you can squeeze all of your client calls into one day or any of your meetings or anything like that. Which leads me to the second point, and that is to start structuring your days differently. I have actually found, and I've mentioned this to some of my clients, that sometimes I have a harder time being productive and focusing when I've got, a 9 to 5 schedule available in front of me. In fact, I share some productivity tips in this video right here. And I found that when I have a more focused, intentional time, I actually get more done. And so when we are traveling, obviously we want to experience new cultures and we want to see new things. That is the joy of being a digital nomad. I have zero desire to sit in my Airbnb or my hotel all day, every day, and not experience the world around me. So I have to be really intentional with the days that I am going to dedicate to work. And that's why I really love batching and bulk scheduling my content, to bulk scheduling my client calls, even live videos. If I'm doing live videos, I'll put those all in the same day. So we know that those days we're not going to go out and wander. I'm gonna get a bunch of work done and then we're good. We don't have to worry about it anymore. So I highly recommend that you start to group your activities together. This is such a fantastic thing to do even when you are just working a normal, in your house 9 to 5 life, if we ever really work a 9 to 5 as an entrepreneur. But what I recommend is starting to really focus in. If you need to record videos, record a bunch of videos, choose the day that you're gonna do that. If you're gonna do podcasts, book those together. If you need to write emails, do those all together. Client calls, like I mentioned, I always book those together when we're traveling so that I don't have to go out and then think about when I have to come back and so on and so forth. This is also incredibly helpful if you're gearing up to take a trip. So maybe you're like me and you're like, all right, we've got a home base, we have an apartment, we have something like that, and we're gearing up to go travel for 2 months or 3 months. You also want to take the first 2 tips into consideration and think about how you can batch record content and upload it so that you don't have to rely on Wi-Fi later. Let's see what I did there. So I actually talk about my entire process in this video where I talk about planning 90 days worth of content. And then I released a vlog showing how I actually did that behind the scenes. So sometimes you are going to notice that you've got a lot of preparation before you jet set and head off to an awesome destination. But that preparation and maybe intense time is going to allow for a ton of flexibility and movement and exploring when you're in that new location. My third tip for you is all around communication. So it is really important that the people that you are working with, whether you manage a team, you have clients, you run a membership site, or you work for a corporation. As I mentioned before, many of you might be exploring what it is like to actually have location independence while working for a company. It doesn't matter what your work life looks like, communication is key. And you need to really understand that explaining to the people that you work with, your clients, your bosses, your coworkers, your team, what's happening, your flexibility, your availability is going to make a huge difference. The last thing that you want is to be out doing something freaking awesome, like in a helicopter ride or something like that, and someone's messaging you about something that's not urgent. We have a tendency to check that stuff. We have a tendency to want to check back in on our emails and our Gmail and all of that. So one of the best things that I've done is set really clear boundaries and expectations with the people in my life. And that goes from my team members who know that, hey, I'm going to be out exploring for the next 4 days. Unless it's an absolute emergency, don't message me. To my clients also understanding that, hey, these are my travel days. These are the days that I'm flying. I probably won't get back to you just then. If I'm in a different time zone, I always let my clients know that I'm in a different time zone. So I might be getting back to them at 3 a.m. And I set up those expectations and I really communicate this clearly before I set out and do anything. So I will email my clients and say, this is the schedule, this is what we've got, just want to clue you in. Inside of my membership Brandmerry Academy, I let them know, I'm going to be getting back to you at 3 a.m. your time because I'm over in Greece. And you know what's so cool about it is everyone is awesome about it. Everyone's respectful about it because we love when people set clear boundaries because it lets us know that we can do that in our own lives as well, and it just sets the stage. So I have never once had someone get mad at me because I'm super clear and upfront ahead of time on what they can expect. And you can do this no matter what you're doing, and I highly, highly recommend. The other thing that I'll say about communication and boundaries is if you are traveling with your family, let's say in a 36-foot travel trailer across the United States, boundaries and communication are so important. When you have that many people in a tiny little space and you're all doing your day-to-day and maybe you don't have a door to your office, like no joke, we would open the bathroom door and that was kind of like my sound barrier in the back. My family knew my schedule. When did I have calls? When did I need to record? When did I need, to laser in and focus? And we talked about that every single week so that we could really enjoy our lives. And again, really laser in and focus and grow my business while also being a digital nomad. It takes balance. It takes a lot of balance because you're going to want to just go out and be on vacation every single day. The reality is that you are a business owner and you've got to set these boundaries with other people and also yourself. And that leads me to the last tip. Not every day is a vacation. Oh man, do I get this all the time, where we take very deliberate vacations in our lives. My husband and I will go on a weekend trip, to the Dominican, or we went and took my son to Disney. Those are specific vacations, meaning I'm not working while we're there and we're, just really enjoying ourselves. We're not trying to juggle both. But as a digital nomad, there's this misconception that every day is a vacation. And I believed that for a really long time. When we first started traveling, I wanted to do everything in every new location. And even my husband and I had to have conversations because, he's home with our son, supporting him, running our household essentially. And he's like, let's go hiking today. Let's do this. And I was like, that sounds great. I don't know. Fantastic. And I realized, really, really quickly that I had to set boundaries with myself. And so all the things that I've shared with you on bulk scheduling your days, planning ahead of time, communicating with the ones that you love, and even, planning out those specific times if you're going for long extended trips as a digital nomad where you're going to vacation and you're going to enjoy yourself. That's important. So every quarter I take a week off where I am on vacation. And I think that's incredibly powerful when you are running your own business. But if you feel like you can't take an entire week off, just know that you need to choose very deliberate days where you are stepping out of the office. When your office is your laptop and your phone anywhere in the world, you have to set those clear lines. And it's really going to help you to experience the cultures and experience life and experience all the reasons that you want to travel in the first place while also growing a successful and sustainable business. There you have it. I really love sharing information about the lifestyle that we live. And like I mentioned, I recorded a vlog on how I prepared my content to travel for 3 months. And if you want to check that out, you can go ahead and check that out in this video right here. But if you want more videos like this, where I talk about the digital nomad life and traveling with a family, with my husband and running my business, then like this and let me know in the comments more digital nomad stuff, please, because I would love to make these types of videos for you if it's something that you are interested in. As I mentioned, this is our life, and even as we're gearing up for next year, 2022, we will be traveling majority of the year, 10, 11 months out of the year. And the things that I've done in my business and having these systems and these workflows has really supported me in being able to do that. So it took us a while. It might take you a while too. Maybe you're like me and you're watching this video and you're just starting your business and I'm like, ooh, I want to do this. Like, what would this be like? What do I need to do? What I recommend is just starting to build these systems in your business and really focus on that scalability and that sustainability so that you can step away when you need to, so that you can hire a team member to support you. It really is a game changer. But I have felt all the different levels of this, from starting my business and traveling for a few weeks to living in the RV with no team member to finally having a team to support me and taking these longer extended trips away. Like, subscribe, and comment if you want to hear more tips on life as a digital nomad and running a business. And you're here most likely because you are a business owner. So I want to invite you to one of my trainings that I have all about marketing. I think we kind of don't think about how important it is to have sustainable marketing in our business. But as a digital nomad, I am incredibly thankful for this, because I know that if I take a week off of social media, if I step away for any amount of time to just enjoy where I'm at, I'm getting consistent leads, I'm getting consistent traffic to my website, I'm making consistent sales. And so you can learn more at brandmerry.com/marketing, where I teach you the marketing platforms and the strategies that I use to do just that. Go to brandmerry.com/marketing, and I will see you soon in another video.